Hey, we're back in the garage, and we are making something for Mother's Day. And it's not 3D printing, it's actually laser cut, and it's CNC'd, and it's gonna be awesome. I'm Joel. This is 3D Printing Nerd. I wanted to make Mom a cutting board, and I wanted it to be awesome, so I did a HIGHFIVE cutting board. I used easel from Inventables on my Carvey, which made the inlay super easy. Easel checks before you carve, so yes, that's my material. I positioned it correctly. And it's telling me to clamp the end. Yes, I can do that. Thank you for letting me know, easel. It tells me how to put the clamps around the piece, and I followed the directions, almost. And then I get to specify which bit, and I did choose my 1/8 inch bit, and then you carve. One of the things I like about the Carvey is this little button on the clamp. It's a home button, so it taps the bit there before it carves to get a Z home, and then the spindle spins and we start making sawdust. Here it is making the little holder hole for the cutting board. Here it is as it's starting to carve out the pieces for the two HIGHFIVE images, I guess, or designs that I'm putting on there. It's really cool, and it's almost hypnotic watching this thing go because you see these chips fly. They just fly all over. You can tell how Carvey is actually carving out each of the spaces for the HIGHFIVE in a certain way. So it started that little pattern at the beginning to make sure it could actually cut away all of the material in the path. And it cut out that little section at the beginning because once it cuts that out, then it can just run essentially a perimeter around the shape, and then it's done for that layer. Carvey doesn't have a dust collection system, which is fine, and it makes for interesting times when your design shines through as this pillowy soft sawdust of HIGHFIVEable stuff. Here is the Carvey starting to carve out the board, and it's 3/4 inch, so it is going to be super thick, and this was probably the longest part of the process. Carvey, though, with that 1/8 inch bit, was actually able to handle the carving just fine. As you can see, I'm pulling back, and Carvey's bed moves back and forth while the spindle spins and moves back and forth. So the spindle's in X, the bed's in Y, and the spindle itself has a little bit of Z action. The idea with Carvey is once your piece is done, you grab your shop vac, you lift the lid, and then you vacuum up all of the sawdust that was created. It's really therapeutic, and it's oddly satisfying as you vacuum up the sawdust from a piece that you're going to have an inlay. And the vacuum is able to get, oh, did you see that right there? Of course I wasn't thinking, but static electricity and my hand touching a metal part of the Carvey, I got myself a little static electricity shock. Oh my goodness. I'm getting the rest of the sawdust off of the piece and from around the Carvey, and it looks great. I did have a little issue with the tabs. Unfortunately, they weren't tall enough, and so the maple didn't hold on well, and it kind of pulled away from the piece, but it's on the bottom, so I didn't really care. Here I am carving the walnut, and the walnut's a deeper, darker wood. It's a 1/2 inch thick, and that 1/8 inch bit, again, is just making sawdust like crazy. And again, oddly satisfying vacuum comes out, and oddly satisfying vacuum gets all of the sawdust off of the inlay pieces. And it looks so good. It's really hard to explain without seeing it in person. And I hope you can see it through the video, but these pieces just look so good. They're so clean. Carvey did a wonderful job with these as well. So here we've got the maple, the hard maple piece. Here we've got the secondary 5 inlay piece, and here we've got the main 5 inlay piece. Do they fit? Yes. I don't want to push them in all the way because they're a super tight fit, and I want to glue them up before I do that, but a thumbs up means they're okay. Now what I did, well, I wanted to say Happy Mother's Day 2018 on the back, and what better way to do that than with my Muse laser. So you can see the Muse actually runs around the bed and takes a picture of all of the material that you have on the bed and then lays it out for you in its Retina engraved software. And from there, you can place things that need to be engraved or cut out, such as Happy Mother's Day 2018. And then you hit the play button and that laser just goes. I believe I did full power, full speed, and these are vector cuts instead of raster images. And so it's cutting through. It looks really good. The precision of the laser, I think, is something that I like a lot, and combining the laser with the CNC of the Carvey was probably one of the best ideas I've had to make a Mother's Day gift so far. The Muse really took very little time in creating this. You can see that it is a little bit discolored from the laser, and that happens when you don't have something covering the material. And what you can do is put tape over it, or what you can do is do what I did and run some 400 grit sandpaper over it. Now, I'm sure I could have used a sanding block, and I'm sure I could have done a lot of things differently, but in this case, I think hand sanding it, well, it just felt right, and I couldn't find my sanding block or any other blocks of wood that I had laying around. So I hand sanded and then I blew out the sawdust, and there it is, Happy Mother's Day 2018. In the tutorial for this, they recommended that things get glued in before you push them in all the way. So I think I got some Tight Bond wood glue, and I put some glue within the inlay on the maple itself, making sure to get glue in the little fingers of the fives, because that's important. The fingers need to stay down, as well as the palm of the high five. It's been a while since I've used some wood glue, but it felt good to get back into it, and I made sure to get glue everywhere. I'm doing a good job, you guys, I swear. I'm getting glue everywhere it needs to be. And then you look back and you're like, is that it? That's all the glue you used? I probably should have used more glue. But these inlays are a 1/2 inch thick, and so as I start to push them down, and with that tight fit, I really don't think with that amount of glue there that they're gonna go anywhere. Next time I'll probably use more glue. I was also paying attention to the tutorial from Inventables that I was following for this cutting board, and once I could push them down no further with my fingers, I got a piece of acrylic. It's old acrylic that I'd done some stuff with. And then I used my mighty foot and I applied #TheFullJoel on it a few times to get everything pushed into place. It seemed to work really well. The fingers at the ends didn't get in all the way. And so I just, with my finger, I tried to get it in, and it didn't seem to work. So what I did is I put the acrylic down and I put more Full Joel on it. Go Joel, Full Joel. I didn't stop there though. Yeah, I grabbed a hammer and I cracked my acrylic. But it didn't matter, it was a scrap piece of acrylic. But I could have used a dead blow hammer to do this. I could have done a lot of different things, but after feeling it with my fingers and pushing down just a little bit further, it felt great. And I was very satisfied with the work that I had done. I really hope Mom likes it. I did want to give it one final sand, and I don't think it needed it at this point because I'm gonna wait to finish this until I get down to my mom and dad's house, because my dad has a cool shop and he has everything that's needed. But why not? I'm right here. Why not give it one more hand sanding just to make it a little bit smoother? So let me blow off the sawdust, get it off there. And here we go. This is the HIGHFIVE cutting board. This is what I'm going to give my mom for Mother's Day. Before we show her opening her gift, let's talk about this. My dad is very skilled with cardboard and making models, and so this is a model of a house that they're going to build on this new lake property that they're going to be getting. It shows the different rooms and it shows the lay of the land, and it really gives an idea of how everything is going to be planned out. It's an exquisite model, and I hope I do it justice by showing it to you here. We did have a feast, of course. This is some tasty pumpkin bread right here, homemade. There's some jams for these vanilla and berry vanilla scones that my mom made. They were so good. I wish I could transmit flavor through video. And then pineapple, strawberry, blueberries together for a little fruit salad. For some reason, strawberries, pineapples, and blueberries just go really well together. Next to that, some really tasty watermelon, and below the watermelon was some cut cantaloupe. And count them, 4 different types of sausages. And not only 4 different types of sausages, but dividers made out of tin foil walls between each of them. Of course, they were labeled savory turkey, chicken and sage, and chicken and maple. All were very tasty. Oh, here we go. Here's Mom opening up the gift. My wife packed it extremely well. There's my little niece right there trying to help out. But my mom brings out the cutting board. Oh, she loves it. I love that one of the first things that she does is notice the inlay. And I really tried hard to make a super awesome inlay. And of course, on the back, Happy Mother's Day 2018. I really think the gift was a success. I think she really likes it, and it's gonna be finished down at my parents' house. So I'm not gonna rub it with the right oils. My dad is, and he'll finish up the sanding on it as well. This is my dad's shop, and this is where he makes everything from big projects to extremely detailed woodworking, just tiny little projects that need to be done. He has the right oils for cutting boards, and he has everything needed to sand it down. So I'm gonna leave it there with my dad. He has the right sandpapers and the right food-safe oils to finish the job on this gift. And it's done. There it is. Look at that. That is a HIGHFIVE cutting board right there. And on the other side, it does say Happy Mother's Day 2018. Could use a little bit more sanding, of course. Once we take it to Mom, my dad has some really good oils for cutting boards, some food safe cutting board oils that we'll put on this, and it'll preserve it, and it'll make it awesome. Just need to sand it just a little bit more. I hope that was fun. I hope you enjoyed that. I sure did. Ever since I was a kid, I loved making stuff, and I don't think I make enough stuff. I do advocate for 3D printing, but I have to remember that 3D printing is an incredible tool, part of a much larger toolkit. So I think we're gonna see more making on the channel. More 3D printing, of course, but more lasers and more CNCs and more awesome stuff in general. So while it's a cutting board today for Mom, I hope you didn't see this before I give it to you. It's gonna be other fun stuff that we make and we do and we play with. I hope to always inspire and educate, and we're always gonna have a good time. Thanks for watching. If you made it this far, you're awesome. Don't forget to hug each other more. I love you guys. As always, high five.